This video is for retirees and specifically tariffs. Today I'm going to give you clarity on the tariff situation. I'm going to explain to you what the most likely outcome is going to be and how it's going to impact or not impact your retirement. Usually on this channel, I'm talking about things like retirement planning topics. I'm talking about the Aim Retirement System. I'm helping people reach their perfect retirement freedom point sooner than later. But nevertheless, it seems like on a daily basis, I'm talking to retirees about this tariff topic. And so I at least want to address it in a logical, step-by-step proof of how this is actually going to play out. This is not a political video. This is a retirement video. So please don't take anything I say pro or con. It's just not political. But most importantly, at the end, I want to show you why it shouldn't matter what happens with this tariff situation. I want to show you how you can put your retirement in a position where it just doesn't matter. But let's talk about tariffs first. So the first thing you have to realize is that America has been getting taken advantage of for decades. China is usually the number one scapegoat. Yes, they have tremendously unfair practices. Their joint venture rule is just absolutely ridiculous. It is certainly the opposite of fair. They love to steal our technology, our intellectual property. There's no doubt about it. These cases have been documented over and over again. But it's not just China that's been taking advantage of the United States over the years. The European Union has charged our American companies billions of dollars. They're charging our companies to do business over there, but we're not doing the same to them. Currency wars across the board, currency manipulation. But the one thing that Americans really can understand are these tariffs. So the reason I think the administration brought tariffs to the forefront is because it's very simple for us as Americans to understand tit for tat, right? This country is charging us 15% on tariffs. What are we charging them? 0. It's very clear and easy to understand, which is why on April 2nd, what did Donald Trump bring to the forefront in the Rose Garden? The tariffs. Certainly, most economists agree that this was just an absolutely terrible idea, right? As soon as he announced it, every single economist that works for a living and does these types of things said, look, I'm going to spend $1 million on a study. I'm going to show you that tariffs are a terrible idea. And they're right. It brings money to the United States up front, but on the back end, it's going to hurt our GDP, our labor, all this stuff. It's certainly bad. Even our treasuries are going to be going on sale. It is true, this is Wharton, but every single economist basically agrees that all households, as you can see on the screen, regardless of age, so that's me, that's you, that's your kids, that's your parents, whomever, regardless of how much money they make, are all going to be worse off in America because of this tariff package, which is why the stock market, as soon as the tariff announcement came out, the stock market, what did it do? It crashed. And if you've been paying attention lately, the stock market has started to come back. Why? Because the market is starting to realize some of the things I'm going to share with you. And like it or not, one of the first things that, again, this is not a political statement, one of the things that you have to realize is that the White House is not full of a bunch of dummies. Whether you agree or disagree with the tactics that the administration has taken, they are surrounded by people who have been in the finance space for decades. Okay, what do they know? They know that the number one thing is to first and foremost raise awareness about the uneven playing field. We have never seen, this has been unprecedented, the number of headlines, stories, bringing to the forefront all these inequities that I shared with you earlier. Goal number one was not to raise tariff. Goal number one was to bring awareness. Mission accomplished. What else does the White House know? They know that no matter how much we need other countries, they need us more. As the economist said, tariffs would be bad for America. Guess who they'd be worse for? They'd be worse for the countries on this list. These are the top 20 countries in the globe as far as economy goes. There is a top 10 list here of countries that just simply cannot afford to fight with the United States. It's going to hurt them more than it's going to hurt us. And the last thing they understand is that there's just no way that 180 countries are going to gang up all once and try and beat the king of the jungle. Imagine a pack of hyenas. There's 10 hyenas surrounding a male lion. Why does this almost never happen in the wild? Because who's going to be the first hyena to spare his life for the best of the pack? And of course, we're not talking about hyenas, we're talking about countries. So is Italy going to just take the dive and submit to the United States of America and fight it out just so it can save other countries? They know this is not going to happen. So here are the main points. Very simply, the White House wants to change the inequities of the global trade arena. Okay. While many people don't agree with the tactics, they have successfully raised awareness in the world about this like we've never seen before. And yes, economists can all agree that studying the negative consequences of these threatened tariffs certainly leads to bad things, but the White House is focusing on the ultimate goal because they know countries rely on America more than we rely on them. And they will not be able to form any alliances strong enough that will outduel the United States of America. Finally, ultimately, their goal is to negotiate new agreements with the United States of America, which is why cooler heads will prevail and tariff threats will eventually lead to an improved world trade environment in the United States of America. So what's this all mean for you, the retiree? If you are retired or near retirement and concerned about tariffs, don't be. Chances are you're going to be okay. Things are going to work out like I just explained. Maybe you agree or maybe you don't. It doesn't matter because here's the point. I could be completely wrong about all of this. It brings up a bigger point about your retirement. We should not be in a position to worry about tariffs. If you think about retirement, it's a 30-year window of risk, right? 60 to 90, whenever that period is. What you should be thinking about in your retirement is reducing that time of risk down to 10 years or less. So the Aim Retirement System, very simply, attempts to find that retirement freedom point, where after this point, you don't worry about stock market. After this point, you don't worry about inflation. After this point, you don't worry about taxes or rising taxes. Why? Because if you set your retirement up properly, your retirement should no longer depend on the stock market after your freedom retirement point. Inflation should not matter because your income is coming from other, more reliable sources. Taxes, or even worse, rising taxes, should be paid all or some early in that risk window so that once you hit the ages of 67 to 70, you shouldn't have to worry about these things. So if you're considering working with a fiduciary advisor who works exclusively with retirees and those near retirement, or just curious to see how we work with our clients, click the first link in the description or go to aimassessment.com. Either way, you can learn more about our trademark Aim Retirement System. You can talk to one of us about your situation and see how close you might be to your retirement freedom point. Either way, my name is Christian Sear, CPA, CFP, and I appreciate you watching this video.